Hello YouTube. So as you can see, I've done a little work here. Here's our stuff from Joe Chest. It is currently depositing my test cobblestone. Here in a second, it's going to stop. We're going to hear a few things hopefully in the background. Okay, yep, we heard it. And that should send the cart back. So I've figured out how this is going to work. I'm actually tricking you right now because you see the wall of my underground area. But we're actually on a test world right now because I did not want to waste my materials trying to figure this out because it's redstone, and I absolutely hate redstone. But, oops, I was trying to click on the chest. I think I got this working. I did a few tests just to make sure that there was no unnecessary pieces, broke some things, made sure that I absolutely had to have those. I'll show you what this looks like, and it looks like a monstrosity. But it's all I could really get to work here. The rain is just lagging this out. I don't know how to get it to stop in creative. There's probably a command. But all of this works together and makes it to where you send it to your friend's house, or you could even use this in your own base. Actually, before I even explain it, I have not looked up any videos. I wanted to make this on my own with what I knew about redstone and comparators and things. If there is someone who's made something like this, they've probably made it better. They've probably made it smaller. So if any of you watching this knows, please link me the video or message it to me, because this is massive, and while there only has to be one of these at each end for what we're planning on doing, this is still big. So if someone else has done this, please send me a link. And next video, crap. If someone has, send me that link, and I will credit them for making a better version in the next video, as well as I will probably use theirs over mine. But until someone shows me something better, this is what I'm going to use. I think that's what I had. But I'll go ahead, I'm going to clear this up just so that way you guys can see everything, and I'll explain how it works. Okay, I've got all this extra cleared away so you guys can see the whole contraption. So here I'll give you a little test. I'll show you what happens. Actually, I have a whole stack right here. I'm just going to empty this. Oh, I already did. Okay, so what happens is we throw in our items that we want to send to our friend's house. We hit the button. It comes over and it stops, and it immediately... Now, we're not going to see them there. We'll see one item constantly. But what we actually see is that it's throwing everything down, because it hits this one, it stops. Everything in this chest is getting thrown into that hopper, passing through the chest, and then getting tossed through the rest of the hoppers into the final chest where it's going to be. And here in a second, we're going to see what happens whenever it's empty. Gets power back and sends it back to the stopping point. So, both at mine and Joe's house, there's going to be two carts. And essentially, what's going to happen is, and I'll just make a line here, a very terrible line. Let's fix this. So, here's his line, and here's my line. At the end of his line here, and we're just going to break this and kind of reset this up. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, that should still work. I need a button. So, send... Oh, now I've broken it. I've broken it. What have I done? Okay, we'll just set it back up the way it was, and we'll worry about that later. That's what I get for... You're annoying me. I can't build. Okay. So, there we go. Sends. Now, it's not going to do anything because there's no items in it, so it's going to get sent right back. Let's say this is his end, so he walks up, and he needs to send items to me. His end is going to be nice and small on this cart. Then that big massive end would be over here on the second line. So this would be his receiving area, and this big line is going to represent all of that junk right there. So his receiving end's over here with all he should have at his end is this chest right here. So at his end, he's got these two, a little one and the big one. Same at my end. I've got the big one and the little one. One is to send items to him and have the cart come back, and one is just on my end a chest because of all this happening behind the scenes. Now, with that being hoppers and that being so big, that could still actually work in the area I showed you guys. This will just be more underground, with the only thing actually popping out is that chest. But, like I said, I'm going to explain to you guys how this works. And I did test all of this. Like, all of this is needed. I tried it without pieces. When this cart comes over, it activates this detector rail, which causes that, and I'll just show you again really quick. Or actually, I bet I can just... I got one right here. So I'm just going to place one right here. When a item is on that rail, it turns that piston on, which has a block, which blocks this redstone current. So the current is no longer powering that. The reason we have to do that, and I'll actually show you why, is everything happens so quickly when it gets down there. If that is not there, no items can get dropped down there in time. Now, the reason that's important to drop an item down, and I'll show you the next step here. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that redstone back that I broke. Power that on. It'll stop and start dropping. So this is how the comparator works. The comparator, I think, if I am understanding this correctly, is checking whatever block is on the same level as it. So it's looking at this and seeing that there's an item in there, which is powering the comparator. Since we had a redstone torch here that was on, that inverts the signal when it hits this block. So it powers this block, turns off the redstone torch, and turns off all the redstone. So when items are passing through that, that is actually what's happening with this redstone over here. It's turning off the whole thing. This piece turns it off a little earlier, just so that way the cart can get up here, it can stop and deposit the first item. That's why this just pops out, turns it off for just a few seconds, long enough for the first few items to start dropping through, so that this can keep it turned off until the last item passes, and then like you saw, when that last item goes through, turns it back on, sends it right back home. This right here technically is unneeded, but since we were going to have our minecart go through a really, really long minecart track, I wanted to have this here because it's probably going to be showing up on full power. I wanted to see what would happen was if it hit it at full speed, it still stops like we saw. We'll throw in items. But yeah, so you guys saw what happened a second ago when this was turned off. It just bounces off of it. It hits that powered rail, knows that it can't go any farther because of this block. And we do need that block. And for anyone who thinks we don't need it, let's see if it'll do it here in a second. I'll just pull it right out. It's just going to sit there because it doesn't know where to go. I'm just going to give it a nudge. I think I need to be down a little lower. Boop. But without that, this is what happens to those who do not know exactly how that works. Whee! Right off the edge. So we do need that block at the end. And since that block's at the end, I mean, it's just, all of it is, and it's just crazy. I mean, I understand it, and at the same time, I don't understand it, and I hate that. Let me fly up here and then unshift. Or not unshift, unfly. However you say that. There we go. It is kind of ridiculous. So let's just see if I can give like a nice, normal, basic version of what all I just said. When this cart hits this end, it's going to set off the rail, which temporarily blocks the signal. It blocks the signal long enough that the chest will sit there, because if that's powered on, it's just going to bounce it right back. It turns it off just long enough that it can start dropping items, which powers this comparator. When that comparator gets powered, all of this redstone gets turned off, and that is no longer powered, so when that opens back up to let the signal through, this is still unpowered, still allowing that cart at this end to drop items. Once it finishes dropping the items, there's nothing to power that comparator. Comparator turns back off when this is empty, which turns this back on like it is now, powers the cart, and sends it back home. Now, like I said, there's probably some easier system. If there is, I want to know it really bad, because this took a while to build, and I pulled my hair out. I'm proud of myself for building it. It's not the prettiest thing, but, it'll probably be in a little enclosed room inside of a wall with just a little bit of light so that way nothing spawns. But I'm proud of it still. This is my first big thing with redstone, other than just doing little tiny hidden doors. So one more time, just for fun, we'll watch it in action. Boop. Pops right over, starts powering. The creeper's gonna steal all our goods, and it dumps everything in. So if Joe say he wanted to send me, let's see, let's just grab a few random items, make sure that sending different things through. Let's do, no, we don't do a whole stack of that. Let's grab this. And we won't have eggs. Oh, let's say he's sending me a pick, because maybe I broke mine. So let's throw these in here. This is what Joe is sending me today. Pops over here. And deposits everything Joe sends me. Sends it right back home. You can see over here, I was playing with it earlier. And I don't know what happened here. I trapped this creeper who's just been under there the entire time I've been building that. I think it was, I pressed the button, let's see really quick what. Yeah, I don't remember why I switched sides. I think I was going to build two, and I built both of just basic carts, kind of tested a few things, started on this one and just never did anything over there maybe? That might have been it, but ignore this. This is not needed. This right here will work even if you don't have a little dinky track over here made. So I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to see what Joe thinks of this. Like I said, he wanted to do a timer, but since I figured out how to get this to work, I'm going to see if he's cool with it. That's all we're going to do for this episode, really, is just this little redstone thing. So I'll probably call it, you know, how to build, I don't even know what you would call this, a smart cart? How to build a smart send your cart back cart system. No, okay. I don't know yet. So hopefully by the time you guys see the name, it is better than the names you just heard. But yeah, that is my little cart retrieval that I've made, and we're going to see if it'll work on the server. Send me any feedback you guys have on this, if you got any better ideas, any ways to compact this down. The real space, I mean, this can be as long as it needs to be. It's really just this little 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 by 4 here. I guess maybe technically 6 by 5 because of this part right here that we need to have. Whoops. Broke it again. Not used to creative. There we go. So, yeah. It's small, but I'd like it to be smaller if that's possible. If not, at least I built it. Let me know what you guys think. Go on ahead and like the video if you like it, and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm not sure how often I'll do Redstone stuff, but I'm starting to understand it a little better than I did. Who knows? But you guys have a great day, YouTube. Bye-bye.